Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. The reason you're not seeing my wonderful visage in this video is because I'm a bit under the weather and I'm not able to get to my usual studio space, so I made this an audio-only video. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the latest episode of The Boys. It was called Gloria's 5-Year Plan. And as it opens, we see that back in the 80s, Soldier Boy was on solid gold, apparently, and Mother's Milk is seething while watching a rerun of it for some reason. Butcher lies about where he got the temporary V from when Huey confronts him about having used it. Stan wants Homelander sanctioned and asks Vicky to pronounce the sanctions, and he thinks that Homelander is still afraid of him. Oh boy. Butcher goes to visit a Russian lady named Nina that Frenchie used to deal with to try to get whatever the Russians used on Soldier Boy, and she, of course, wants something from them for it, on top of the bag of money that he gave her. Homelander visits Huey and Starlight and menaces them, taunting Huey, who bows up against him, while Starlight threatens to walk if Homelander does anything, but he says he's joking, which probably wasn't true, and as always, he was very creepy in this scene. The boys board a private jet on an assassination mission for the lady, which Kamiko will have to carry out. Starlight visits Maeve about the weapon and learns that she already knew, because she's the one who put the boys onto it, and that she seems to be a bit despondent. She's like, yeah, I really don't care what happens to me. Starlight then asks her Super X for help going after Homelander. At a meeting, A-Train tries to get a seemingly racist super who has been over-patrolling black neighborhoods benched, but Homelander doesn't go for it after Deep poo-poos it in terms that Homelander connects with, bringing about a fight between he and A-Train in the hall. Everyone keeps talking about how A-Train can't really run anymore, and I'm trying to figure out, if that's true, how is he still on the 7? I don't understand. Anyway, when he complains in front of Starlight's ex about how pissed off he is, Starlight's ex lets him in on the plot to get Homelander. Kamiko goes on her mission as a call girl for a guy who has a collection of 7 themed dildos and vibrators that he wants to use on the hookers, but doesn't waste any time nailing him through the head with one of them before taking out the guards with the other ones before getting shot in the head by one of the actual hookers that are present, which takes her down for like a minute before she recovers and gets back up. Vicky shockingly announces that Homelander has reported wrongdoings by Stan, which will be investigated, instead of the sanctions against Homelander that she was supposed to announce, after Homelander apparently put the touch on her. Kamiko then tells Frenchie that she wants out of the gang with him. Homelander tells Vicky that she's not really Stan's daughter, and pays her off for doing his bidding. Butcher uses the temp V again in case things go sideways, and it seems that Huey wanted in on some too, after his latest run-in with Homelander. Homelander taunts Stan about his situation, and Stan tells him he's still screwed because with no one above him at Vought anymore, now that he's taken Stan down, there's no one to cover for his blunders either, and he'll soon be exposed as a pathetic ass by his own doings. Next, we get a scene where it looks like Vicky is dosing her own kid with V to give her powers so that I guess nobody will be able to mess with her in life, and the injections apparently hurt quite a bit. The boys then proceed to infiltrate the facility that Nina told them about in exchange for the assassination that they did to get whatever it is they went there to get. Whenever Mother's Milk took out a guard during the sequence, he said the name of a movie where Russia got their ass handed to them, so it was kind of funny. He was going around taking down guards, and he'd be like, Reg Dawn, Rocky IV. It was kind of funny. While creeping around the facility, Frenchie and Mother's Milk come across a super hamster and apparently excite it by talking to it, and it goes a little crazy in its cage, and it sets off an alarm. The boys then have to fight a bunch of guards, and one of them gets taken out by the super hamster, which can apparently fly, and which attacks one of the guards by jamming itself into his face. Okay. Butcher takes out a couple of guards with laser eyes, and then when Mother's Milk is almost killed by another one, we see that Huey apparently took some V as well, and is able to save Mother's Milk by zipping across the room at super speed and putting his arm through the guy's chest cavity, apparently in the nude because he must have phased through his clothing or something, but he's standing there in starkers, which is kind of weird. Once all the guards are down, the boys find what they came looking for, which is apparently Soldier Boy held in stasis. When he steps out of the chamber that he was held in, he shoots a beam from his chest for some reason that hits Kamiko after she pushes Frenchie out of the way, and she seems to be very severely wounded from it and isn't healing the way she normally would. Soldier Boy takes off as the gang tries to help Kamiko. Homelander takes Starlight to a building top where he shows her the dismembered corpse of her ex and tells her that he's aware that they're plotting against him because the ex ratted them out, and that if they don't knock it off, he's going to do the same thing that he did to the ex, to Huey. And that's where the episode ends. It was pretty good. I like how they're advancing the plot. They've started in the beginning where Homelander's even worse than usual, and they have an idea of how to take him out, and they've got to figure out how to get this thing that they can use for that purpose. And, they're taking that step by step. And along the way, we're seeing, a lot of gore, and we're seeing the different repercussions of everything Homelander keeps doing and everything that the other people keep doing to try to contain him, including including Stan, and how he always seems to have the upper hand at the end of the day. And it's just sort of all building to something, I think, obviously, a final conflict, kind of like last season, because, Homelander keeps ratcheting it up, and then they ratchet up against him sort of behind the scenes, and then he knows at the same time there's another plot going on where things are being ratcheted up against. So, it's like a caged animal. He's just going to lash out and do more outlandish crap. So I don't know. It's going to get messy, I think. Not that it hasn't been messy. It's going to get messier as this final conflict draws near. So it's going to be a ride, and I'm here for it. But I thought that this episode did a good job of moving things forward. And, it explores more about Butcher, about how he's kind of messed up and, not right in the head. And is he going to end up being addicted to V, or, is he going to be able to kick it? What's going to happen there and stop using it? All this stuff is going to be popping up throughout the season. So I'm looking forward to the next episode. I, of course, will be back with my review once it's released. Until then, I take my leave, and I wish you all peace and long life.